Hi, how are you? I was hanging up off of a call. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm checking the volume because I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Yep, I got you. How do you pronounce your name so I make sure I don't mess up? Is it Samara?
That's correct.
Hi, how are you? I was hanging up off of a call. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry about that. I've got us on
you.
YouTube Live. Let me shut
Can you
that
hear me now?
down. Yes, I can hear you very well. Yep, I got you. How do you, so we don't echo. Okay, so Samara, okay.
Yes, I'm going to try to sign in from my computer. I would prefer to do it from my computer as opposed to my phone.
Same
But
here. I have my desktop too. I agree. How was your day today?
It was good. Work is picking back up, so that's good. So it keeps me busy at work. I have to
I'm gonna just I'm gonna step back because we are on YouTube Live. So I'm gonna step back for about 5 minutes while everyone else is coming in and you're working on the desktop.
Okay.
Okay, cool beans.
Thanks. Let's see. Neri?
Recording in progress. Recording.
Hey, Anaris, hey.
How are you?
Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful. I know we're still waiting on like one more sister. Am I correct?
Yeah, let me call her and see what she got going on.
Okay, no problem. I'm just gonna step back for a little bit. As I was telling Samara, we're on YouTube Live now, so I'm just gonna step out and step back for a second.
Okay. Hello? Huh? All right.
So how have you beautiful ladies been doing?
I am great.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow, and so it's Samara, Anaris. I know me and you have talked, and I'm saying it right, Anaris, right? Is it Anaris or Anaris?
Anaris.
Anaris, I got it. And then your other sister that's coming in is
Exania.
Exania, so I don't say it wrong. Exania. Okay, so ladies, while I'm waiting on Exania to come in, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up your presentation so we'll have that on the screen as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
See if I can get us on Facebook Live right quick.
Yeah, what did she say?
She said she about to get on. Let me call her again. Then she know what she's doing. Hello? You got it? You need help?
Girl, what was she doing?
You gotta turn that music off in your background. You should have set an You should have set an alarm.
Ladies, are you able to see the screen share that I'm sharing with you guys now?
Yes.
Okay, cool beans. Just wanted to make sure. I too now I'm going to get us on IG Live while we're waiting on your other sister to come in.
You got it? You gotta put in your email and password.
So just join with Facebook then. So just join Facebook.
No, how's she gonna join with Facebook?
That's how I joined.
She said press join with Facebook.
Does she need me to send her the link again or anything?
The way you got it set up is if once you go onto the Zoom, you gotta log in, and if your email not connected, then it won't let you go. It won't let you get in there.
I can send it to her phone number. Can one of you guys just send me her phone number in the chat and I'll send it to her text message?
Yeah, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she already did it. She about to text you the link, Zan. I put your keys on the porch. Frank. Your keys right here. Come on. You got it, Zan? I'm missing Matt. Did you get the number?
Yep, I got it. I'm sending it to her now.
Okay, what? No, go in here. I know, go in here.
It's been sent. So how's everything going so far now with, I'm trying to get us back on live now. With just, just maybe a little update as we wait on your sister about how everything is going with I hate violence and some of the things you guys are working on for like the coming years and maybe some things you guys have that you're looking to do and you may want support for as you're trying to before, I mean, you don't have to tell us the whole story. We're going to wait for your sister, but just maybe to give the audience a little bit of an idea of just, maybe some future things that are going on and things that you guys are working towards with I Hate Domestic Violence.
It's going good. Right now I'm working on creating the nonprofit under the I Hate Domestic Violence brand. So I told you I was creating another name, another entity.
Yes.
Domestic violence. So once I get the logo finished and my website finished, we will debut the name of the nonprofit. So we're gonna start applying to grants and stuff like that so that we can do more for the community.
Okay.
And we are hoping to plan a back to school drives when school is getting ready to start. So we are looking forward to that.
Some things that we've done in the past, we've done just like a walk for I Hate Domestic Violence, and we sponsored a family or a young lady, and actually gifted her the proceeds from the walk. We adopted a family during the holidays and was able to provide toys and clothes, and I think we had like some bedding and a bed for a young lady and her kids. Um, what else? We did a raffle as well and was able to give some very nice baskets and other things that we gave away. So those are things that we did in the past, and we're looking to do more of that, like she said, this coming year.
Okay, okay. So now, for the end of this year, so I know what we're talking about in 2022, but for the end of 2021, what type of support would you guys need moving forward? Again, as we're waiting on your sister, what would be the best way to support you guys? And is there a Cash App or PayPal or some way that someone can donate to your fund to continue what they're going to hear about when they hear this beautiful, this transforming story today? So do you guys have like a PayPal or a Cash App if anyone would like to help out and assist?
Anaris can answer that one.
Yes, we do have a PayPal. So our PayPal is I hate domestic violence at gmail.com. And we also have a donation page with a company. It is called, so it's through City Girls Big Dreams. And the company is called Go Fund Her. It is a platform for women who are starting businesses and stuff. It is a platform for people to be able to donate to those women, those different women in their businesses. So we have an account on Go Fund Her as well. You can find us under I Hate Domestic Violence. You could just type it in the search box on Go Fund Her, and we should be able to pop up.
Beautiful. So Go Fund Her, and Cash App is also, but both are under I Hate Domestic Violence. Yes.
Yeah, and for the Cash App, so we have PayPal too. PayPal is under I Hate Domestic Violence at gmail.com.
Okay. Okay.
And then
beautiful.
for the Cash App, I just been using my regular Cash App for that.
Okay.
Which is the nearest LM, so ANARRISLM.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry, guys. I was just looking over to see if did your sister make it in?
Don't know.
She's having a hard time logging in. Let me check and see.
We just do it. Should
Yeah,
we just start or?
Yeah, we're gonna basically go ahead and get started. And then when she comes in, I believe her introduction was like towards the end.
Okay,
So I know.
You can start with Samara. I'm gonna put my computer on mute so I can try to help her.
Okay, well, you have to remember the slides are more pictures, so it's more of you guys talking a little bit and sharing a little bit about what those pictures are, the significance of them. So I would like you to also just jump in whenever you can so that Samara, they can hear how you feel about some of the times that we're going to see in these pictures. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, ladies. All right, everyone. Welcome to Empowerment Divas Network Monthly Empowerment Hour. My name is Samantha Van. My co-host, Michelle, just had a beautiful baby girl, Georgia. So she is taking a little bit of time off right now to take care of sweet Georgia. Please check out Facebook at Empowerment Divas Network. You can find us there. But again, my name is Samantha Van. Empowerment Divas Network brings you the story of how three radiant, strong sisters are healing and learning to overcome the tragedy of the death of their mother, a mother, friend, lover, and beautiful soul that transitioned during 2020 for unexpected and unforeseen reasons. With us today, we have the beautiful Samara Arianis. Did I say that right? I hope I did.
Yes, perfect.
And, okay, and Anaris Monger. So we have two of the beautiful sisters, and we're waiting on their other beautiful sister to come in. But as we're waiting, we just want to start the presentation and just go through and show you guys some amazing things and pictures of a beautiful woman. So the organization's name is I Hate Domestic Violence. So again, if you're on Creative Odyssey, if you would like to donate to the story that you're going to hear today, you can at PayPal at I Hate Domestic Violence. you can on, Anaris, you're gonna have to help me. What was that? It's PayPal?
Go fund her.
Go fund her. Go to Go
Yeah.
Fund Her under I Hate Domestic Violence if you would like to support. We're gonna have an intimate conversation with three sisters that have taken pain and turned it into triumph for all around. So right here, ladies, what are we looking at now? I know mom is in, I see your mom in the middle. There's Anaris. And
So this was last year, well, the year before last, just a family gathering. We always did family functions, get-togethers, game night. So of course, our mom is in the middle. She has,
It was Thanksgiving at my house, remember?
yep, and she has the red shirt on, so her smile is big and bright as it always is.
yes.
She loved family and she loved getting together. She's more so the glue that held the family together. And she was very traditional in regards to that. She always wanted us to be together on the holidays. So this is just a trademark picture of how our holidays always went.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, here's an adorable picture.
So that's my mom, probably in her early 20s, and that's my oldest sister,
Okay.
Tanya. Yep. So again, always smiling bright. That was our mom. So the next picture is a picture of my mom and my dad and my brother.
Okay.
He joined the Army unexpectedly, and of course, you know, with him being the only son, my mom's only son, she didn't want him to go. However, she was always there to support us. So they're at his graduation or ceremony, not sure for sure what it's called exactly, but they were there to support him in Virginia.
Okay. Now, is your brother, does he still live in Virginia?
He's actually in Tennessee right now.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. And is your dad, is he still alive?
He is.
Okay.
He's from Tennessee, but he lives here now. And he's
Okay.
very supportive, always supportive of us. Very, very good dad. So he has been there with us every step of the way. Every step of the way. So
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, this is what we're here to discuss, the death of Elizabeth Ralston. So I know you guys, whatever you would like to just express about this, you may. And I know that, you know, you're going to talk about it. Yes.
so this is our mom's obituary. My sister actually did this in Eris. And so
Beautiful.
yeah, we wanted to make it intimate. We didn't want it to be traditional. Our mom wasn't traditional. We wanted it to actually represent her and exude her personality. And so although we went through the channels of meeting with people to look at different obituaries, at the end we decided to do it ourselves. And my mom actually wrote part of her obituary before she passed.
Wow.
It was funny because maybe like 2 weeks before she passed, I was looking for some files, and she had given it to me a few years back and said, "Hey, here's this. If something ever happens to me, I want you to put this in my obituary." So she actually had a part in writing her obituary. So we definitely used her original words, and then we added some things. So this was our mom's obituary that my sister put together.
Wonderful job, Amira. A wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Exania. So we've got Exania here. How are you?
Good. How are
Beautiful
you?
wonderful. It's beautiful that you made it in and we got you in here. Before we go to the next slide, was there anything else anyone wanted to share?
Nope, not right now. I'll wait till you get to the next, since I'm just joining in. I missed a lot of it, so.
Well, we only got through like 2 or 3 slides so far. We haven't got that far. So we're only like 2 or 3 slides in.
So this is actually Samara's birthday.
Okay.
And so of course my mom, she made it to all of our birthday parties, and she celebrated everything with us. So this is just all of us together on the picture with our mom on Samara's birthday.
Okay. Beautiful. How old were you turning, Samara?
That I think I was turning what, maybe 32, 33. I'm not for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Was it a fun night?
it was definitely a fun night. Our mom was always there. Imagine having like a best friend and a mom, and she was all of our best friend. She loved each one of us like different but the same.
Yeah.
She was always there to support us. So this was definitely a fun night. Dinner and dancing, and she loved to dance and sing and just do all type of good stuff. So
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so our first one up is Anaris. Would you like me to read it for you, or would you like to read it? How would you like to?
I can read it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'll just, talk about who I am,
Yes.
reading it so it can just, be natural. But
Yes.
my name is Anaris Monger. I'm currently 30 years old, born and raised in Detroit. I was born in a two-parent household. For the majority of my childhood, my parents were married, but they did separate. They made sure that we had everything that we needed, and they kept us in extracurricular activities and out of trouble. So they kept us, out of harm's way. They kept us out the streets and stuff like that. So yeah, we're from Detroit, grew up in the hood, as they would call it, but because of how we were raised, my mom kind of kept us from a lot of negative things and a lot of negative environments. I attended Martin Luther King High School and graduated from there, and then attended Michigan State University for undergrad. And I received my bachelor's in IDS Health Studies. And then I went to Wayne State University and graduated from there with a master's degree in community health education. So right now, as you know, we're currently working on opening up a nonprofit on behalf of our mother, who was tragically murdered by her husband on March 2nd, 2020. And it will also, the organization will be dedicated to help assist those affected by domestic violence. So the journey that we're on is very personal, and we're very passionate about what we're doing.
And that's going to lead us right into, I'm just going to jump into Anaris. It was when I did your interview for Freedom K Radio that you told me the story. So do you mind starting us off as to what happened, and then the other sisters can join in, but giving the audience whatever you ladies would like to share about what took place and what happened to your mother?
Of course. So on March 2nd, 2020, my mom was murdered. Um, that day, that morning, I remember I was at work. I was working with the Mayor Corps. And I remember like just sitting at my desk and kind of like reminiscing about my grandma, because my grandma had died 2 years prior. And so a picture had popped up on my Facebook, and it was of me, my mom, and my grandma at my graduation. And, the tears started rolling down. I just kind of felt like something overcoming me. And so I remember calling my husband and called him, telling him I was about to come home.
You're going in and out, Anaris. We can't hear you.
we can't hear you.
Can't hear.
We can't hear you.
With either of the other sisters? Wow.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So I wasn't home for that long before my sister called me and told me to go check on my mom. She said because my mom wasn't answering the phone. And usually somebody would have talked to my mom that day, especially Xania. Xania, she talked to my mom like every single day.
A few times a day.
So no one had heard from her. So I wasn't at work, so I was able to drive over. So I remember my sister calling me and she was like, "Hey, I need you to go check on mom." I'm like, "Why? What's wrong?" And then just like, "Okay," and I just got my stuff and I left the house to go check on my mom. And I called my cousin because I was kind of like nervous because I had a feeling in my stomach that something had happened, but I just wasn't sure. But I kind of felt that in my spirit that something had happened. I knew something was wrong. So my cousin didn't live too far from my mom. So on my way to go check on my mom, I ended up picking up my cousin, and we headed to my mom's condo. And the way my mom's condo was set up, you pull it in, you have to go around a trail, and then you have to go in the back around a circle. So soon as we turned in to the circle, I seen the police and the news, and we just pulled up, and I immediately just hopped out the car, and the police kind of like came to us and was kind of asking who we were, and I just immediately fell on the ground because me and my cousin fell to the ground because we already knew it was her. Like we knew that that's who they were there for. So, but her husband had ended up murdering her, and then he ended up shooting himself. And what was crazy was it was already being broadcast. It was already on the news and everything before we even knew, because they were there hours before we had even got there. Like nobody had called us, and the police asked me like, well, how did you know to come? I'm like, because it's my mom. She didn't answer the phone. I knew to come. Like we knew to come. Like she didn't answer the phone.
Right.
So that's kind of like what happened on that day for me.
So would any other sister like to share, or wait until they do an introduction and share, or would any other sister like to share just on the whole death experience and something as tragic as that happening unexpected?
Oh, for me, it was kind of the same thing because we're very connected to our mother, very connected. Each one of us is very connected. And so for a few weeks, I have been going through some things. I remember getting off of work, and I just said, Jesus. And I just started regurgitating that word. I just kept saying, Jesus, Jesus. And before you knew it, I was in a full-fledged, just like sobbing and hysterical. And I just kept saying, Jesus. And then it was done. And then maybe like I said, a week before that, I remember I woke up in the middle of the night and I went to the bathroom, and then I just started praying, and I started praying for everybody that I could think of. I was just screaming people's names. I know my neighbors heard me because I live in like an apartment style condo, and it was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I was just screaming everybody's name, and I was just praying. So that morning when I did get up to go to work, I called my mom because we would talk on the way to work sometimes. And I said, Mom. And she was like, no, that morning I didn't talk to her. I got to work, and I was telling my supervisor about what happened. And I said, oh, let me call my mama. So I got to tell my mama about what just happened. So I called my mom and I said, Mom, and I said, guess what happened? And she was like, what? And I told her, I said, I woke up and I said, I was just praying for everybody. And I was like, I was just praying. And then she was like, oh, well, let me go pray too. And sometimes she would say, let's pray on the phone. She said, do you want to be on the phone with me, or do you want to get off? And I said, well, go ahead, because I'm at work. So she got off the phone and she prayed. And then the morning of, I woke up late. I had talked to her that night. She was at my sister's house. And so she talked to me all the way home. And we got off the phone and she said, I love you. I said, I love you too. She said, I'm home. So we got off the phone. And then that morning I woke up late. I got to work. I didn't talk to her all day, but I figured, somebody would have talked to her. It was just, that day was just kind of off. So when I got in my vehicle, because I can't bring my phone into work. So when I got into my vehicle, I sent a call from my brother, and I sent a call from my sister, my older sister. And so I called my sister back, and she was actually on the phone with my brother, I believe. And when she said she hadn't talked to mama all day, I said, well, what you mean you haven't talked to her all day? And at this point, it's 4:30. At 4:30, I knew in my heart that it was too late for us not to have talked to our mother all day long, not any one of us. And so I started panicking right then. And my brother was like, you guys need to chill. You just don't like him. And we said, no, Brandon, you're not here. You don't see how he looks at us. And not that he had ever did anything blatant, but it was just the way that he looked that kind of just made you say something is different about this.
Like a feeling or a spirit or something like that you got from it.
It was almost like a look that kind of pierced through your soul almost, kind of.
Yeah, so, we didn't know everything that he was going through mentally, but, it was just like I said, she must have said a piercing look. So immediately I had a meeting to go to. And during that meeting, I was just I was frantic. I was just like, so when I got out of me, I called my sister and I said, go to mama house, hurry up. And she was like, why? Okay, I'm on my way. Like I said, like she said, she asked the question, but didn't even wait for a response because we already knew. And at that same time, I turned my car around and I was driving there as well. And I'm talking to my friend and I said, something happened to my mom. And he was like, how do you know? I said, because I know. I know it's too late. It's sick because I was calling his phone and I was calling my mom's phone and I said something happened to her. My friend was like, calm down, you don't know that. I said, I do know it. We are connected. So like my sister said, when we pulled up, the police was questioning us, like, how'd you guys know to come? Who called you guys? And we said, nobody called us. Nobody had to call us. We already knew to come. And so as we were talking about our mom, this situation was happening. I think the first shots rang out like 5 p.m.
Wow.
But 30, we already knew she was already in danger. And so by 6:37, we had gotten there, it was already too late. So the one thing that I do take from this is, because I prayed to not be bitter. I prayed but that my mom made it to heaven. Those are some things that I prayed for, and those things that was really bothering me. But it was revealed to me that she did make it and that she had enough time, because also what I learned is that I was interceding for her on her behalf before she even passed away.
Mm.
So I feel that she was able to have enough time to pray and ask God to help her and save her, because she actually made it outside the home, which is why even though we pulled up, my mom was still outside when we pulled up. They hadn't even removed her body. However, the lights were so bright that we couldn't see her. And also they couldn't go into the house because my mom's name was the only name on the house. So they had to actually get a warrant to go inside the house.
Wow.
Actually outside. That night they wrapped everything up. We were able to walk through the house that night. And I just say this, people think it's weird, but for me, it was a relief because we didn't see we saw maybe a couple droplets of her blood. Through all that tragedy that she went through, we didn't see any of her struggle. However, we saw his struggle, and that kind of gave me peace, where I felt like my mom made it out, what I'm saying? God took his child and he went where he was supposed to go. And so it did, I found peace in certain things when dealing with this. I don't know.
I like that you find the treasures in things. You find
Yeah.
the brighter things. Yeah.
My mom was actually getting away. She was getting out, and I didn't know it for sure, but I kind of felt that she was leaving. And when I actually read the police report or the actual warrant to go into the house, it took me months, and I kept reading over this thing over and over again, and I always missed it. But when I went back months later and I could actually look at it with clarity, it said Elizabeth Lawson, outside, lanyard keys in hand. And so my mom was actually leaving the house. She had actually made it all the way outside, down her stairs, and actually outside her front door. And that's where she collapsed. That's where she bled out. So that gave me peace that she was actually outside of that home and the evil spirit was contained inside the home.
That's right.
So that's my take on it. I don't know if you have anything to add, Zan.
Well, pretty much what you said, like the day before, she called. I guess they were having some problems and she called and told me to meet her, so I met her and she came over and we had smoothies, just hung out, I polished her toenails like she always wanted me to. And he just kept calling and calling and calling. And I'm like, well, what is the problem? Like, is it a problem? And I could tell he had been drinking, because normally when I talked to him, he was pretty pleasant and tried to, crack his,
Yeah.
but this particular time it was something different.
You could feel it.
Yep. And even that day at church, her church member had said that my mom wasn't her normal go-lucky happy self, so apparently this argument had been going on like all day, all night. And like she said, we, it was just a strong feeling that we had the day of, that we just, whew, it was something different, that's for sure.
We just all knew. We
How
just all,
much, how much do you sisters feel that mental health played some of the parts in what made this man shoot and do this to your mother? Like how
I
much?
feel a lot, 100%, because he went through watching his mom and dad, they had abuse in their family. So, and then when the story broke and my sisters were posting things on Facebook, women from his past were coming out saying that he had done similar things to their, you know what I'm saying, their loved
Yeah.
ones. So to me, it played 100%. It was,
Very
and
much.
he covered it
So
well.
you're saying his pattern of behavior had been out there in the universe.
Yeah,
For years. For
He
it
was-
years.
happened for years.
he was doing stuff like he would talk about who he was in the past tense, and that was a huge red flag for me. For me, I thought that was so weird because he never talked about who he was in the current, in the present. It was always, oh, I used to be this big basketball player. Oh, I used to work for such and such news station. Oh, I did this. Oh, I did that. And it was like, okay, well, who are you now?
Who are you? That's right.
And it was just very weird to me. And I just
Nobody.
thought, yeah. And I just thought like,
That's
okay,
right.
yeah, I'm like, something not right. And then like with the mental health thing, it really played a part. Like he was a popular person back in the day. He knew a lot of people. He had a muscle physique where he worked out and stuff, so he was very muscular, and he had a built a body that was like a athlete and stuff like that. But in the present tense, he was overweight. He had gastric bypass surgery. He developed.
He drank a lot.
Yeah, he drank a lot. He had developed cancer. I think he was able to get the cancer cured, and then he developed COPD. So he wasn't this person anymore. And I think that was another reason why, he had all these other issues, these drinking problems, and, these insecurity issues. But what he did was he covered it up with the things that he did. He pretended like he was just this big family person, but I had never seen his family around for real. His family I didn't see his family around until my mom started making the thing like, okay, well, I want them to come around. You know what I'm saying? Because every time I was around them or him, I had never seen his family. So, but with us, like we did a lot of family stuff. We got together on the holidays. My mom was that person that made sure she was doing something to bring us all together. And I just think that was something that he didn't like. I don't think he liked the love that, we shared with our family. And I think that was an issue for him.
Like a sort of resentment. He kind of felt kind of resented.
Because I could kind of agree with that. It was like, because he was such in his mind, a big, time person.
Yes, a big deal.
It's like my mom, had a lot of friends and a lot of family, and it was like a competition to him almost. Because talking to some of her friends, and I just recently found this out, he wouldn't even let, like, my mom's friends from 40, 50 years ago, he wouldn't even let them come to her house anymore.
What?
Since they have been married.
Wow. And how long were they married, ladies? How long were they married?
Not even a year.
Not even a year. Wow.
They got married in May and she was murdered in March.
Oh my, yeah. Wow.
Almost 9 months or almost 10 months. To me, just to piggyback off my sisters, he had like a grandiose attitude. And that's the best way to put it. He had a very grandiose attitude, and he would boast, like my sister said, about his past. And we are a humble family. So for us, we would be kind of having like this blank stare, like, okay.
So,
like what is he trying to do? Who is he trying to impress? Yeah.
Because we're living in the present, so it was almost like you know, like she said, he would mention things from the past, and we're like, okay, but you don't live there anymore.
Over and over again.
Over and over again. And he would want a reaction, and we just wasn't like that. I just never had that, you know, it just never would impress me. So that was, like she said, that was some things that, you know, he will always mention was the past and this grandiose attitude that he had. And we just was like, okay, but
You can
as
see
far
right
as
through it. You know, you guys saw right through that.
we saw
Mhm.
right through it. And then too, we come from a blended family. We've always had a blended family, and so we will always get together. And I can remember, or my sister, my older sister, she has a different dad. And so when we were kids, I remember me going with my sister to her dad's house for the weekend. And then my dad, he was previously married. So on the weekends, either my siblings were at our house or we were at, you know, Miss Louise's house. So we were always blended. And so right before my mom passed, February, I had a Valentine's Day gathering at my house. And so I invited my dad and my stepmom, and I invited my mom and him and then my aunties and uncles, and you know, we all meshed. And this was, you know, we were having a great time. And then I look up and he was glaring at me.
He mumbled when he walked through the door, because I was, you know, greeting them when they came in, and he mumbled and he said under his breath, why is he here? Meaning
Your father, your dad.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Our dad, which to us, that's normal. We grew up like that, you know. So my dad was married, you know.
That's right. He had moved on. Right.
And so for us, it was normal, you know. So I had no idea that would, you know,
ignite anything or spark any kind of confusion.
Or, you know,
as soon as they left, he was normal.
Yeah,
with no problem. He was the life of the party again. Yeah.
He was very mad. And I looked up, and that night my mom passed, the night before she passed, I said, Mom, because that was bothering me. But I looked up and I saw him glaring at me. Like I said, he was looking through me. He was so mad. And I said, Mom, he seemed like he mad at something. I said, I don't like the way he looked at me. And she said, he not mad. You know, and I addressed this night before she passed. You know, these are some things that I had addressed. Literally, we were on the phone. And I said that to her. I said, he seemed like he mad at something. And she was like, he's not mad. You know, she would take up for him. And so my mom was a strong person. She didn't take no crap. So when she said she was good, we thought she was good. You know, we thought she was good. Like I said, we couldn't put our finger on it. You know, we just really couldn't put our finger on
what it was. Like, what's the thing? Yeah.
It was weird because it was like he hated the way we loved our dad, but it was like, another thing is like, you as an adult, you understand we could never love you
in the same way.
Yeah, like, you know,
How
like
so?
he raised us. He was a dad, a father. So of course we're gonna love him. And then my mom was married for way over 10 years. So of course he's still, you know, a part of the family. Of course my aunties and them still love him, and he's get along with everybody. You know.
But like Exania said, it seemed like he liked to be in he seemed like he had a competitive mindset. So he would have competed with anyone that he thought made him feel any type of inferior or insecurity or anything of that nature. Because
and that's why
that person.
He stopped her friends from coming over, because they were, my mom, she was a sweet person and she didn't take any mess, but they were like more vocal, more dominant. You know what I'm saying? My mom, I don't want to say she was passive, but they were more dominant than her. And he saw that they would see through him. So they so he kept them from coming to her house.
They would ask her questions like, are you happy? And I guess he heard one of his friends ask her that, and he basically kicked her out of their home.
What?
It was about three, I think it was like 3 friends that I talked to.
And she had a friend she was real close to, and she used to come around, and her friend stopped coming around because she said, she's like, it's something about that man I don't like. And I don't want anything to do with him. So I'm just going to remove myself from the situation. So it was a lot of people had sensed something from him, but he hid whatever it was. We looked right through him, like past him, but we just couldn't put our finger on what it was. Never would have thought he was abusive.
Hmm.
But one
'Cause
day,
yeah, never would have thought that.
my mom was missing. This was
Hmm.
before we found out that, before the incident happened. So one night she was missing or whatever. It was me, Zan, and Samara. We were on the phone together. We were having a good old conversation, and then somebody just stopped in the conversation, like, "Wait, did y'all talk to Mama?" And everybody was like, "Nah, we ain't talk to Mama." So we was like, "Well, let's call her." So one of us ended up calling her on three-way. Her phone was going to voicemail. She wasn't answering. So then it was like, "Okay, we'll call him." So we calling him or whatever. He not answering at first. So he really liked Zan. So Zan called and he answered for Zan. And when he answered for her, he was like, Shazam was like, "Where my mom at? She not here." He hung up on her. So she called back and he was like, "Well, tell everybody I love him, but I'm gone," and hung up on her. So we immediately sent the police over there. We called the police and sent the police over there. He ended up having a gun, and I guess he was threatening suicide on himself. So the police took him to like a hospital overnight. My mom ended up being at my auntie's house. And we were calling my auntie phone, but I guess she didn't want to tell us that my mom was there. Mom had told her not to say nothing. So finally, my auntie was like, "Well, she here," whatever. And so finally we were able to talk to my mom, and she kind of was like, "Oh, he just drunk, like he'll be okay tomorrow," just kind of brushing it under the rug, like as if the situation wasn't serious. And I remember telling her, I said, "Ma," I said, and this was a conversation I had by myself with her, because she had ended up going back to her house, and the police ended up giving him his gun back. And I remember telling my mom, like, I said, "Mom, what'd you do with the gun?" She was like, "Oh, I put it up." "It's okay, I put it up." I said, "Mom," I said, "I don't feel comfortable with you having that gun in your house like that." I said, I told her, I never forget this. I said, "If he threatens suicide on himself, Mom," I said, "he'll threaten suicide, he'll kill you too."
That's
I said,
right.
"Because if he don't love himself, he will hurt anybody else.
That's right.
You can hurt yourself, you will hurt anybody else."
I
And so,
thought it was strange too. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Neri.
and then probably a couple of weeks before that, I remember him calling me, and I was with my husband, and I remember him saying, like, "Yeah, I got me a gun." Da, da, da. And I'm like, "Well, what the heck you need a gun for? Y'all live all the way in the suburbs,
And that's what I was gonna comment on too. That just what you just said,
and you calling
because
and
my
bragging."
mom had told him that I told her that somebody was looking at me, watching me come home at night. So I'm licensed. So he said, "Well, I'm gonna come over there and knock on his door and tell him something about your daddy said." I said, "I don't need you to come and knock on nobody's door." And then the next time I came to my mom's house, he had bought a gun. And I'm like my sister said, "Why would you buy a gun? You didn't have one before."
Right.
It's not like you moved into a bad neighborhood. So I was just thrown by that too.
It
So
was
you ladies are saying like things were adding up. Samara, whenever you're ready, we'd love to introduce you as well.
Okay. Well, I'm Samara Munger. I'm a young professional, my mid-30s, and I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Of course, we got a two-parent household for most of my life. I didn't not see my dad in my house until I went away to undergrad. In my early childhood, I received education from private Catholic schools. So mom made sure that we got the best education that she thought was, good for us. Education was funded by both my parents. After I went through 8th grade, and then after that I went to King. And then I got my undergrad from EMU, and then I got my master's from Wash. And so I went ahead and do business. I got my degree in business and human resource management. And I've had several careers since my graduation from Wash. My current profession, I do work for the Department of Corrections. And in my spare time, I love to work out and cook. My mom taught me that. I took that from my mom. She she didn't cook every day, but she cooked on the holidays, and she loved to work out and look good. I spent a lot of time working on self-preservation, pampering activities, prayer, reading, and I'm a huge fan of my family and good relationships with my friends as well, which leads me to discuss my mother again. She was affectionately known to us as mom, mama, mommy. It just depends on the day and the mood. She was very strong. She was graceful. She was very prideful of her appearance as well as her home. And she was actually warming to your soul. And so as her second child, I would like to think that she had her own special relationship with each one of her 4 children. She taught us many lessons and made sure that we had the best that she could give. She taught me how to be a lady. She told me to sit upright, cross your legs, put on some smell goods, walk with confidence. A lady should have a few pair of heels, headscarves are for the home, and your dress should be too revealing. She would always get on me about how I dress, so that was her big thing. She said, read your books, exercise, eat your veggies, and the list can go on and on. So I definitely owe a lot of who I am to my mom. And so as I write this brief intro who I am, I wanted to point out that I am a daughter of domestic violence, and it's not by choice, of course, but by force. And again, you guys know that she was taken from us just last year, and by someone that she actually loved and trusted. And I just want to give this actual fact from the National Coalition of Domestic Violence. And it says that an abuser's access to firearms increases the risk of femicide by at least 400%. So at the moment that he purchased that gun, my mom's life, her ratio of death actually went up by 400%. So whereas we never had weapons in the home before, when she married this man, he purchased a gun for whatever reasons that he thought, deemed necessary, whatever he told her should allow him to bring weapon into her home, which actually increased her rate of death, homicide, femicide by 400%. And so since the passing of my mom, I wanted to focus on areas of, managing my grief, mental health, and overcoming bitterness. Again, I mentioned I didn't want to be bitter after going through something like this. And so my sisters and I, we're spearheading the brand I Hate Domestic Violence. My sister Nearest has been the driving force behind most of it. She's the face behind the brand. And we are using our mom's legacy to help others in similar situations, just to try to prevent abuse before it starts, and just to help educate other people on the signs, because we were seeing little bitty things, but again, we listened to what our mom said, and she said she was okay. And so we listened to her saying that she was okay, but like I said, there were little bitty signs. We couldn't put our finger right on it, but if we had known the right questions to ask, or even the right approach, maybe she would have felt more comfortable with talking to us about it, because we talked every single day. And so maybe it was a thing of pride, or maybe she didn't want to be judged because, on the outside and past, we had a great life. And so we didn't come from I would say more of we had a good background. We got a good foundation. And so to say that something like this happened to us, it really put things into perspective. Like, no one is exempt from violence or anything out here in this world. To say that my mom, just my mom, to actually say that she would actually have been murdered and by a gun, like to say that could have happened to her, it still is unreal to me, because like we didn't come from that, and she sheltered us from things like that. Like we couldn't even play around with neighborhood kids for the most part, because we didn't even go to neighborhood school. She kept us very
isolated. She was doing your foundation. She was creating your foundation.
Yes. So to be able to say, yes, my mom was murdered. Yes, she went through domestic violence. It's still crazy to me, if that's the word.
It's hard to hear too. Her name with murder. It's hard to hear.
It's hard to hear. And every single day I think about my mom. I mean, it's not a day that don't go past that I don't think about her and the fact that she may have had to feel some type of pain through this. And I kind of get a little bit of solace because I listen to other people who have gone through gun violence, who've actually made it. And I asked them, did you feel anything? You know, because I just want to make sure that she didn't feel nothing. Because my mom was, to me, she was fragile. Like, it would be times where I would hug her and I'd be like, ew, mom, because, you know what I'm saying, I felt like I would feel her bones. Like, I can't imagine her having to go through that and what she was feeling. And I just hope that enough adrenaline was pumping in her that she didn't feel anything. And at first I was screaming like my mom was on this cold ground because it was cold that day. I was screaming that, you know, she was on this ground. I was mad. I was like, she was on this ground. But then I felt, like I said, I got peace from that too, because I'm like, wait a minute, she made it. She made it out and she broke free from that evil spirit. And then imagine having her to go through that and through the pandemic, you know, imagine her having to be in there with that, and we couldn't even reach her. And to be as close as we were, and for us not to be able to reach her, I don't know, that kind of, you know, at least I didn't want to be regretful, but I do take peace, and we had that
But you're
conversation.
healing and you're doing all the beautiful things to heal, Samara. You're doing some beautiful things.
And my sister Zan actually was able to spend the entire day with her. That whole day before she passed, she was able to spend that entire day with her and do the things, because that was her best friend. My older sister, that was her best friend. Like, they did everything. They shopped together. You know, I didn't like shopping, but, you know, my sister was the road dog. You know, like, that was her road dog. Whenever she wanted to do something, she can call on her and they will always go. And so, like I said, we all had our own special relationship, and we all knew our place. Not that we had a place, but we knew our place. You know, each one of us had a special role in her life. And so just to think that she had to go through that is just, it's still unimaginable that she went through that. And I saw her walk. Now, I didn't know where she was shot at first. They didn't give us information because of COVID. But somehow I knew that she was holding her side and holding her railing going down the stairs. Like, I was seeing all this, you know, I was seeing all this, but it wasn't confirmed till later on. She was shot in the back with a Magnum 357. And imagine that bullet. We saw the bullet holes in the house. We saw the way the bullets hit some of the walls. And so to imagine how big that bullet was piercing my mom, it's just, I still can't even, I don't even know what she was feeling. And I just hope that she didn't feel anything. I hope she just had, you know, like, he took her, like he took her. So that's just my take on it. I just, you know, I just wish we could have, I don't know, somehow have seen it or said something. So.
Well, and like you ladies were saying, you can see the signs, but as you were saying, and many of us do it. I mean, it wasn't just your mom. Many of us get into relationships and we make countless excuses. No, it's not like that, or don't worry about it. He's just sleepy, or maybe he was just tired, or vice versa for the man and a woman. So we do it so often without even realizing what we're doing, and even realizing that those things that we're making excuses for are those very things that we should be paying, like, with a microscope, close more details. When it just takes time, because we all go through it. And unfortunately for your mom, how it ended, but it's so hard to really know the truth. You know what I mean? It's so hard. Exiana, am I saying that right, Exiana?
Exania.
Exania. Exania. All right. So you're the oldest sister that was the road dog and mom's go-to girl. So learn a little bit about you today.
Yeah. Well, I'm 48. My mom demanded that I stay in private school, so she worked hard to put me through private school. I got a degree in fashion. I love to paint, bake, cook, travel. I travel with my mom. And she was actually planning another trip right before she passed to Jamaica. And I just went to Jamaica just, because she was planning on going to Jamaica. And like they said, we all are family oriented. It's just hard to hear murder in the same sentence as Elizabeth Lawson. Her friends still call and check on us. They make sure we're okay.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm sorry.
No, don't ever say sorry. Don't ever say sorry. Here, tell me this. What was one of the most funnest vacations you girls had together?
Actually, Jamaica. And then I was going to comment on this picture that's up here because she wanted to get some makeup. So we went to the mall and she went and had her face done at MAC, and she thought she was a fashionista. We had so much fun that day, and she, I think she called my siblings and said, "We got to do that again. We had so much fun." It was just, I think Jamaica would have been. We went a couple places. Either Jamaica or Myrtle Beach. We had a good time at both of those places.
Okay.
Yeah, she loved to travel.
Now this is just all of you guys. Here's an old picture. So we got.
That's me at the bottom. My cousin, cousins, and
That's
my mom is
Mary.
in the pink.
Pink. Okay.
Yep. I'm not for sure who all these other people are.
That's Erica, me up here in the top.
Yeah.
My auntie.
Okay.
Is that Lisa?
Yeah.
That's my cousin Lisa. Yeah. So, my mom, like her aunts, and they always did like family gatherings. She always kind of wanted to keep the glue, and it was, I remember I felt like I was disappointing my mom because as I grew up, I'm like, Mom, I don't want to go to Thanksgiving Day parade, and I don't want to do this anymore because I was cold, and but some of the things that was like the foundation, so I just remember her always making sure that we didn't miss a holiday, and she would like deck us out for Christmas, and like that was her thing. And so I remember when he came around, I wanted to mention this part too, because I thought about it and I forgot about it. But when he came around, our mom did speakerphone a lot, but it was always, and she did speakerphone on her own at first. It was just more so that's just what she did. She answered the phone on speakerphone, but it was almost like it just became a little bit different when he came around, because he would be talking to us in the background. We'd be like, huh? Or it was just almost like,
We
could
could
feel
never
the
have
energy
a personal
shifting.
conversation with her on our own.
Yeah, it got to a point where like you didn't want to talk on the phone no more because
you could feel his energy. Like you guys can feel energy and things. Like was there an energy shift? Okay.
Yeah,
and at first it was normal because she always, even before him, she did the speakerphone thing. That's just what she did. But then when he came around, it felt like it was no privacy. Like it was just different. It was weird. It was just different. It was no comfort at the house anymore. It just kind of felt like I didn't even want to go over anymore. And I lived with my mom probably up until like the year before she passed. And when I was leaving, I said, well, Mom, because I could have been left, but she's like, no, I want you to stay. And I had moved back in with her. And right before I was leaving, she kept saying, well, you don't have to go. And I just keep thinking about that. Like, she probably, I don't know if this is, I don't know, but I just kind of felt like I kind of left her, and she didn't want me to leave. She kept saying, well, you don't have to leave. And I'm like, well, Ma, you about to get married. Like, I need to leave. So those are some things that I think about, with that situation. But it was no comfort at the house anymore. It was a strain to go over there. I didn't want to go over there. We talked all the time, but I didn't want to be around. I just didn't want to be around anymore.
So ladies, after your mom's passing, and I know each of you ladies had to take your time to heal as you're still healing, when did you guys start I Hate Domestic Violence?
Um, so it probably was like almost immediately after. Because we used to get on Facebook and like say different things about our mom and about our emotions and stuff. And one day my sister Samara had made a status, and at the end of her status, it was like hashtag I hate domestic violence. And so I had read it, and I was like, I hate domestic violence. I'm like, we could turn this into something. Like we could turn this hashtag into a brand. And so it was like, like probably as soon as we got done with the funeral and everything like that, it was just I went into overdrive, like, and started trying to build this brand.
Yes. Yes. Now tell us a little bit about what the brand stands for again. So again, this is a I Hate Domestic Violence brought to you by Samara, Anaris, and Exania. So what exactly are some of I know earlier we were discussing some of the activities that you guys have been doing, but what are some of I guess, what does I Hate Domestic Violence basically stand for? Like, what is the whole?
So basically what it stands for is just we want to be a voice for those people that have lost their voice. We felt like we strongly feel that our mom lost her voice. She had a very strong voice. She was very opinionated when it came to her kids and when it came to things that she loved. And so we felt like when she got with him, she somehow lost her voice. So we want to be a voice for those individuals who have seemingly lost their voice, and just help them, let them know that, it doesn't affect just you. It affects a whole entire community. I don't know if my sister mentioned or not, I can't remember, but he worked for Channel 2
7.
News, Channel 7 News back in the day. So when they reported on my mom's passing, they reported him as this grandiose figure and how he was so great.
But you know why? Because his sister got ahead of the story first and put it out
But
there
they
as
also
such.
But they also said, one of our own, this, and that. And so I actually wrote the person who reported on the story, and I asked him if we could, revisit it. He said that he would take it to his producers and see, but they never got back with us. I reached out a couple times because we wanted to, state that, yeah, he may have been this person to you guys back in the day. However, who he was, or who he is today, he went through a lot of things. Life hits people in different ways, and
Right.
I'm not judging him because I don't even know his
He
past.
was still that person back in the day because those women from 20-something years ago was saying he was the same person. So he just covered it up well. That's
Right.
what it was.
And I didn't know. I found just you telling me now. I didn't know that he came from an abusive background himself. I didn't know that, but I do know that it was brought out that that he had been telling his brother that he was going to kill my mom. So he had mentioned this to other people, but nobody spoke up. And so we just kind of want to be a voice and just kind of let people know what the signs could be. They may not be that, but what they could be, and just kind of help other people in that same situation, let them know that there is a whole community. My mom funeral, we actually, and I'm just grateful for this too, we were able to have her a funeral. We were able to give her a homegoing service. Our mom was the last funeral that weekend before they shut everything down. And she had standing room only. And I remember somebody said, I just want to tell you, she said, I went to the gas station after the funeral, and she said, I was in line. I heard somebody mention that they had drove past his funeral, and it was so beautiful. And they were all standing outside with flowers. And he said that he thought as he drove past, wow, that lady was loved. And that's just who my mom was. Like, it was a whole community. Like domestic violence just doesn't affect the people that are involved. She had kids, she had coworkers, she had family, she had community that didn't even know her. People were reaching out to us. And when I say everything was taken care of, everything was taken care of. We didn't even have to do much. We just went through the motions, but it was already taken care of us. Like literally every step of the way, it was taken care of us. My mom even set it up for us so we could, you know what I'm saying, grieve properly. And everything was just pretty much handled. Like she made sure that we were straight. And that's the kind of mom that she was.
Yeah, and I would just intercede. I know you said we kind of want to be a voice. No, we are a voice. We are being a voice. We are the voice for people who have been affected by domestic violence. This is what we are doing. So, you know, like in our vocabulary, like this is who we are right now. Like this is the mission, the purpose, the passion, and this is what we are making happen.
Right.
Because things that because of the things that my mom went through or was going through, and the things that other people are going through currently right now at this moment as we're speaking.
Right. And so we're, like I said, we're just grateful that, you know, we can actually stand up and show that even with just being a year in, that you can overcome something like this. And when I say we're close, when we had to stand together, we had to stand together, and we still stand together. Our relationship, you know, has, even during the pandemic when we couldn't see each other, we were still face to face. And it's crazy. It's not crazy, but when my sister would feel something, I would feel it. Vice versa. It would be 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and send a text message, "You up?" "Yeah, I'm up." You know, because it was like we was all feeling the same thing. And that's just how connected we are. And our mom, that was one of her biggest things, to look out for your sister, look out for your brother. You know, she made sure we did that. And, you know, even when you look at her tombstone, you know, we talk about, you know, who she was, and just basically from her 11 children, because she wanted us to all stand together. And so we have been standing together, and to not look like what we've gone through, you know, to be able to still smile and laugh and just still do some of the things they want us to do. That's just what, you know, what we have been doing. Whenever one of us has an idea, we backing the other person up.
And her friend texted me a little while ago when Samara said what she just said, and she said, you know, she just said, "Hi, I love you. I also want to say I'm so proud of us."
So,
And you know, and to have a best friend who loved her kids as much as she loved her. So she knew, you know, that my mom, you know, really loved us. And we, you know, it was her friend still look out.
Yeah,
that is so kind. So ladies, if people, again, I just want to ask you before we wrap things up, if they want to support or check you guys out, where can they go to do that?
So I just wanted to say this. I'm currently working on a website. I'm getting that up. It's taking a little longer than I expected because we have a few things that we need to do. So no website yet, but it is in the works, and it's going to be amazing. But in the meantime, you can follow us on Facebook at I Hate Domestic Violence. You can follow us on Instagram at I Hate Domestic Violence. Also, if you want to contact us, you can email us at ihatedomesticviolence@gmail.com.
All right, those donations will allow I Hate Domestic Violence to support and take care of the community, as they have been doing since they started right after the passing of their beautiful mother. So I just want to thank Empowerment Divas Network, definitely wants to thank, I want to close this out and get that to the regulars. There we go. We would like to thank you ladies for coming on. Death of any close family member is definitely not something easy to talk about, especially so soon after it took place. So your strength, ladies, your resilience, your ability to bounce back and make it is nothing short of amazing. I have authored a few books. I do a few things. You ladies definitely should put the connection that you guys have. And Samara, never say you're sorry, you apologize. Many people are feelers. I'm an empath. I can feel everything. So I stay away from certain energies. I seclude myself, or I'm very careful about who I place my energy with so that my energy is not unaligned. So there's nothing wrong with that. And their siblings can have them, anybody can have them, as long as you have that aligned energy that can blend together, you know? But you ladies should definitely take your stories and put them into an anthology of just short stories of some fun times, good times. And even if it's not to sell, it's up to you. I can help you do that for free. And that's just something you have to pass on to your children, your grandchildren, and many more just to learn the beautiful stories of your mother. You know, include pictures and just keep something constantly going so that, like you guys have said, all these friends, all the standing room only at the funeral, the fortunate of Yahweh that she was born before they shut it down. I was listening to Samara like, wow, you know, everything, even in the midst of such tragedy, look at all that came out and how it was organized. And all praise to Yahweh. You know, he's not here anymore. And I like how Samara said it earlier as well. So for anybody that's trying to sell him off as him being maybe a past celebrity or a superstar, it doesn't even matter anymore. He's not existent, which he should not have been after such a thing. So, ladies, would you like to close with anything? But again, Empowerment Divas Network would love to thank you for coming on, and we appreciate it.
Well, I
I
just
just
want to
wanted
say,
to say thank you. I'm sorry. Just say thank you for having us.
Yeah.
we all want to say thank you for having us on. And we definitely appreciate you. And just to touch on the short stories, I've actually started chronicling some of I was chronicling my feelings daily, and it definitely helped me. I immediately went and got a therapist because, like I said, I didn't want to be bitter, but in between that, I started chronicling some of my feelings and just some of the thoughts and some things that came out as we were, experiencing this. So we just want to say thank you again. I say thank you for even my brother who isn't here to speak today, but because he's a big part of this too.
Yes, the process.
So
But don't forget to write that book, ladies. And Exania, I'm an artist. So I do a lot of things. I do a whole lot. So I would love to, I have a showcase coming July 17th, and I would love for us to get together and just paint a little bit sometime.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I would
so
love
we
that.
can vibe a little bit on a lot of different levels,
Yes.
ladies. So just grab my number. Anaris has my number. Just grab my number from her. Don't forget me and let me stay in the loop to help you write the book, help support you. And again, just for the audience and those, because we have been on Instagram Live this entire time, please remember to support, donate, and help. Everything helps. In order for these ladies to continue this I Hate Domestic Violence, they have to have funding so that they can put out brochures, so that they can put out flyers, so that they can put out all the necessary things that they need to make an impact and a change. So again, thank you ladies so much. All love is with all of you. I hope you guys have a blessed evening and namaste.
you too. Thank you.
Thank you.